curious how important it is for all of you to sort of shift what people expect from you based on your choices. Awkwafina, I know with The Farewell you did a really dramatic role when you were kind of known for comedy before. Did that add extra pressure? Were you worried people would expect you to be funny in the movie?
Yeah, I mean, it added a lot of pressure. Yeah, I was really, really scared. Yeah, because I think you know what people think about you and stuff like that, but you don't know what you can do. And I think that you create all these different scenarios in your head about the worst it can go and the best it can go, and you want to strive for this kind of invisible best that never will come true. But I think it's that striving that that you kind of run on. And I think without the neuroses, without the self-hatred, without the imposter syndrome, it would have been harder. Yeah. But I still don't know if it's drama. I think it was the character. I really related to her, and that's the only thing I knew. Yeah.
It is the director Lulu Wang's real story with her grandmother. How did you kind of work with her to make sure you were getting her story right, but also, delivering your own experiences in that role?
I mean, the cool thing about Lulu and Billy is that Lulu wasn't very precious about keeping her exacted, and she would say things like, she wouldn't say that's not how I sneeze. It wasn't like that, and I think she was always very receptive to any input I had about what she would be doing, what she would be thinking. And I think it's that trust that I think also really helps a performance also, You don't want to, when you're working with a director and you improv something and they're like, can we not do that? It's you just the worst feeling ever. But then, when you have that trust, it's nice. But yeah, I think as a result, you reinvent something else. And I think in the case of The Farewell, Billy really became this vessel for the Asian American experience or the Dash American experience that is lost between two worlds and doesn't know what to do. I think there's a genuine urge for audiences to want an industry that represents their life.
Yeah.
And I think that in that way, that's why I'm very positive about the direction that we're going in. I don't think that having people of different cultures or women will be a trend, because I think that it's what people want. People, we're changing as a society. I don't think that the work that Time's Up or the Me Too movement will reverse. I think that it's going to become engraved into how we work and how a set is run.
Yeah.
And I think that those changes are only positive because we're moving forward as a society.
And if I may add to that, I think it's because money matters, and they're making money.
Yeah, they're generating
and
material.
Now they're
proving
it's
that
not just they're being conscious,
it's
they're
financially
making big bucks.
Financially viable to
and
do
the
it.
audience is louder. Now with social media,
exactly.
Social media.
You can no longer just be in your little boardroom and and say what the audiences are looking for.
Yeah.
That was the folly, black films don't sell. Oh, nobody wants to see a
Exactly.
Latina do a comedy, that sort of thing.
Women
That's-
movies don't
women
make
movies
money.
don't
Chick flicks.
make chick flicks, exactly.
So what do you do when you're working with an actor and they are just not supportive and you're not connecting?
I wonder now if I'm that person that people are yeah, there just wasn't a connection there. I don't know what's going on. No, I'm just retracing that in my mind. I think for me, if you come onto set and if the other actor is having a bad day, or I feel I sometimes that energy will come off a little bit, and it's not anyone's fault. And I think it's always if you hate me, then I'm gonna feel uncomfortable right now, But then I think that when you do have those talks with your co-stars or whatever, and you kind of realize that they're human as well, and they have the same fears, I think that helps the on-set connect. Just knowing the empathy and knowing that we're both here going through it,